Hello and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
As two Leos, I think it's safe to say that we both like to be super involved.
Yes, I love a good hangout, party, event, literally anything that my friends are going to be at. I want to be there too.
Exactly. And if I'm not, I get mad FOMO.
Same. That is literally me this weekend. One event in Texas and two in Colorado. It makes it impossible for me not to have FOMO.
What if I told you that there are events that could do the opposite and give you FONMO?
FONMO?
Yeah, the fear of not missing out.
Word.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Word.
Trademark.
Trademark FONMO.
Story one.
I have FONMO.
Story one. He pulled a knife out on our first double date. Okay.
Yippee.
Cute. When I was about 23, my friend Emily was using Tinder and matched with a guy. She sent him a photo of me and he told her his friend was interested. Before I knew it, we were planning a double date. Their idea of a first hangout? A hike. Red flag. The guys picked us up and drove us to a desert-like trail, where you could see the city and the neighborhoods far off. I already felt a little uneasy, but I hadn't promised anything. I was just along for the ride. We started climbing higher up on the trail. At some point, Emily and her date walked ahead, turned a corner, and disappeared down the hill. That left me alone with him. She's not your friend.
Yeah.
The second they were out of sight, I felt his arm wrap around me, something pressed against my neck. I looked down and realized it was a pocket knife. I let out a nervous laugh, probably pure shock, and he actually grinned and said, "You laughed. You're my kind of girl." Yuck! He slipped the knife back into his pocket and kept his arm around me like nothing happened. I tried to move forward quickly and get through the rest of the hike. Afterward, they brought us back to his family's house. Apparently, they were really wealthy. I left my sweatshirt there by accident. Later, he sent a picture of it to Emily saying I'd get it back the next time I came over. There was no next time. I never saw him again. Let's not meet. What?
I don't.
First encounter, a man holds a knife to your neck.
Oh, bro, whatever tip you thought that you picked up from whatever smut book that you read that one time, or whatever TikTok you saw that went over a smut book and dark romance, and you were like, this will be a good idea. Stop.
Watch this. Witties love this.
You need to actually read a book. Read something by Sylvia Plath, for God's sake. Like, read something that, like, actually tells you or shows you who a woman is.
Right.
This is not it.
Like, you need to read and then fill out a check-in sheet for the psych ward, because that's insane. That's insane to do to someone.
Yeah, he's lucky that he didn't get hit or, like, anything worse than that.
Well, and if she, like, did anything other than, like, laugh, if she, like, screamed or freaked out or moved,
yeah,
she could have accidentally gotten cut.
Exactly, yeah. You're my kind of girl. Ooh, that would have given me immediately, like, visceral chills, like, gut.
Yeah.
Like,
I need to leave. I need to go home.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. First encounter, you go on a date and you go hiking, which...
Don't do that. Stop doing that for a first date.
Stop doing that.
I don't care if you're outdoorsy. You don't know this person.
Yeah.
You know?
You've heard of alpine dumping, right?
Is it where people take someone out and then they just leave them there?
And they just leave them. They're like, we're breaking up. And then they just leave them.
Yeah. Edward?
Yup.
That's probably where they got the idea.
They were like, smart.
Yeah. They're like,
write this out.
She made me watch Twilight so many fucking times. I'm going to show her Twilight.
Yeah. I'm going to be her Edward. I'll come back from Italy in like 6 months. I'll have a nice
I'll be glittering in the sun and she's just in her room.
There's a possibility. Yeah, no, that's insane.
Ew.
Icky, gross. Take notes for any. I keep rubbing my eye because I'm like so uncomfortable. I just want to like I'm self-soothing right now. I'm like, it's yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that that's where this was going to go with that title because I bring knives on my first date.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, if you've ever gone on a date with me, doesn't it, first, second, third, 12th, whatever, I definitely had a knife on me.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, you never know. It's better to be safe. I mean,
Better than nothing.
if I was out dating, I would bring my gun with me,
Yeah.
like every time, because
Mhm.
I don't want to take any risks.
Yeah.
There are
Yep.
too many scary guys, too many scary people out in the world to trust this type of behavior. Also, like, and here's the thing: is like, you can see his intention with this, right? Hopefully, like, this is me wishful thinking. He's like, I'm on booktok.
Right.
I've seen all the girlies like talking about dark romance. I've seen all the like the cosplayers who put a mask on and do the like lights out thing where they like put a knife on the bed and make her bounce on it, you know? Like, just I've seen it all. I know what the
Yeah.
girls want. So if she's into it, then I know that she's like into it.
Yeah.
And like this, God, we should have had this story for our special guest.
Oh my God.
Which I don't want to like put out there yet, but
You're so right. We need to find more of these.
we should have saved the story because I would love to have their opinion on like the duality of
Yeah.
like dark romance versus real life. Like
Right.
this is a perfect example of like,
Right.
you read this in a book.
Because if he was like a shadow daddy,
Yeah, if
all
like
muscled up.
what's his name, Zayd is like walking behind me, like
Right.
I'm bricked up in my pants, you know.
Right. He's like rooting. He doesn't want to be in charge of the kingdom, but he has to be.
Yeah.
It's his legacy.
Exactly. And in this, like in the book, you're not on a double date. You're like you're leading somebody to this town. You guys are like
Yeah.
enemies to lovers or whatever.
Right.
And he's like coming behind you and he like stops you and he's like, "Can I trust you?"
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right. He's
And-
seeing what you would do if you would give away your location.
Yeah,
By
exactly.
screaming.
And you're laughing, so it's like it's feeding into that.
Yeah.
And so I get
Us bricked.
yeah, fucking
You know what?
sweating like but in real life, in this scenario,
Horrifying.
horrified, especially if it's the first time you are meeting them.
Yeah.
If this is a discuss, and this is the problem that I had with Haunting Adeline, okay?
Yes.
There's a big thing. We're gonna get into smut, okay? This is what
Oh
we're
no,
talking
they're
about right
talking
now.
about smut
Oh,
again.
no.
Surprise.
They trigger warned the book as like CNC, but then also like there's another term for it where it's kind of like it's the gray area where it's not really discussed, which like they do not discuss.
Yeah.
But for me, that book, and I know this is a hot take, people are not gonna like this opinion. That book way surpassed the point of like any sort of blurred line of CNC that there can be.
Right.
There are so many moments in this book where she's like, no, 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 and she's like crying,
Yeah.
full crying, and she's like, I don't want it, I don't want it, and it's like, what else do you call
Right.
that? Like, I don't know. There's you have to. There has to be more there to consent, like to make me feel okay reading it, you know,
Right.
to not like feel like triggered reading it, you know.
Right.
And like that taking that into this, like there needs to be clear
Right.
set consent that is okay, that is what you want. Like, hey, at some point if
Right.
you were to pull a knife on me
Right.
and like be in a sexy way, I would be okay with that.
Right.
That's not happening.
That's not
She
happening.
just thinks that a knife's being held to her.
Right. She doesn't
Like-
know this man.
Yeah, she has no idea. And I mean, it would be odd for your first date meeting to go up and be like, "Hi, my name is Rebecca. I would love if you held a knife to my throat."
Right.
Like, weird.
Sorry.
But if that's your thing, girl.
You
That's
know,
your thing.
I
But-
did have on that exact point. One of my friends, Rory, he's like 6-something feet tall. He's so tall. And he dressed up as Mike Myers for Halloween one day. And he looked exactly like, because
Yeah.
he's so tall. He's got the
Yeah.
stature. And so many women, partnered or not, would go up to him and be like, "Can you hold a knife against my neck?"
It's like the same thing 2 years ago at Halloween when we went dancing, and one of our friends was like, "Hey, went up to a ghost face and was like, can you fit the knife up? Can you choke me a little bit?"
Yep.
And it's like, yes, hot. I understand. I
Right.
understand. Fake knife.
Fake knife.
Real
knife. Didn't ask for it.
Yeah. Didn't ask for it. That's the key thing.
Right.
That's what we're missing here is the consent. Always consent to everything.
And we're just hoping he's on dark romance.
Yeah, this is not being optimistic.
This is us speculating.
Yeah.
Like, he could just, be a
just be a fucking weirdo. Yeah.
Which, sounds like he might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moral of the story is don't go on hikes on your first date. Or second.
Or third.
Stay in civilization.
Even. Yeah, I'm like...
And don't ditch your friends with random men.
No, if you take your friend on a double date and you leave them while you're in the woods, you're a bad friend.
Right.
You're a bad friend.
I get it if you, you go out to dinner, you're in the city, and it's like, oh, me and Chester
are going to go to this bar.
Yeah, we're going to stand over at this part of the bar and, get to know each other. Are you okay over here? That's fine, because you're still in the same area. You're not in the wilderness with mountain lions.
Somebody commented and said, did you ever tell your friend what happened? And also, did you tell her to never send anybody your picture on a dating app without asking you first? That didn't really make sense at all. OP said, yes, I told her as soon as we got into the car to leave. I don't know. It's strange. Like the way I felt, I had to stay calm through it all and act cool. I don't know, but that's what I did, and I'm happy I'm alive. That's a good point. I was surprised when she told me that she sent a picture of me. She said it was like no big deal after I had agreed. I was like, yeah, but he doesn't know what I look like. And she said, he knows what you look like. I sent a picture. But it could have been the picture of both of us. That I am unsure of. So, yeah.
Yeah. I have gone on a lot of first date double dates. With some of my friends when they were still single. Never been in this scenario. This is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Story 2. I met an old girlfriend and accidentally ended up in a drug den with a Nazi. Awesome. So I, 24 male, randomly ran into an old friend, let's call her Lisa, 24 female, at our town's festival. We hadn't seen each other in almost 2 years because of education and stuff like that, but we immediately talked and had fun like it was yesterday. She was in town because she was going to meet some friends, and I casually tagged along and had a good time. Lisa had always been kind of a wild girl. She was very popular and good looking, but she was a former punk who had history with doing drugs and other stuff like that. While I haven't even touched a drink in my life, it never bothered me, because we both came from a school environment where drugs were common, which is one of the reasons I'm capable of keeping calm in very fucked up situations. Well, the night continued, and besides finding out Lisa's ex from 2 years ago, who's a drug dealer, had been arrested for possession of 3 kilograms of cocaine he smuggled into the festival, nothing really alarming happened. We decided to go to one of her friend's apartments, and man, red flags just started to pour down. First, the apartment was completely covered in Barbie decorations. I had never seen so much pink in my life.
Green flag.
Not even in the Barbie movie. That in itself was not a red flag, but the big bags of coke and other drugs in stylish Barbie plates were. Turns out her 3 friends were also drug dealers, and there were just drugs everywhere. But it honestly didn't bother me. Lisa was a sweet girl. I knew her. And I had been out for absolutely insane stuff throughout my entire life, so I had grown kind of numb to it. I just sat down trying to have a good time without judging, and we talked, and eventually me and Lisa ended up talking about exams, specifically about war. I started talking about this movie we had seen, about some of the worst things Hitler had done, the worst mistake of the entire night. This grabbed the attention of one of the people in the room, this gigantic beast of a man. Let's call him Kevin, around 29, maybe. He looked dead at me and asked, "Do you think Hitler was a bad man?" I answered, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "But you know he was right, right?" And then he takes me to the side and starts giving me a manifesto about who controls the world, how much he hates Jewish people, and so much bullshit. Oh, sorry.
I was like, I need to brace myself. I need to hold the table.
I'm just going stone-faced and nodding through it all, while I can clearly see Lisa being uncomfortable and awkward about it happening. Eventually, Kevin stops and claps me on the shoulder, and then he hands me his joint. I refuse, saying I've never done drugs or alcohol before, nor did I intend to start. Mistake number 2. He starts laughing and calls me the perfect man, and starts to point out my skin, blue eyes, and blonde hair. You're an absolute perfect specimen, the perfect man. But say, do you have a girlfriend? 'Cause I'd love to fuck you. No, I answered. Then let me guess, you're also a virgin, right? Oh, let me get in that sweet ass.
Woo!
I just nodded, not wanting to go in too deep. Not like he's gonna go in deep later. I'm sorry, that was wrong. And then he started a second speech that was basically another manifesto, imagining the following part in the voice of Trump. Yes, he talked like that.
You're
the perfect man, and I respect you. I respect that you don't do drugs, but I need to warn you, girls will never, they'll never fall for you. Do you think a writer can write about drugs or go to prison if they never experience it? No, of course they can. Yeah, and the same for girls. You never get a girl unless you're willing to experience with them. It's like sex. It was good at the beginning, but I kept experiencing and trying at pleasure because you need the experience.
The hands are so good. I was about to turn to you and be like, you have to do it. And I already saw your hands go up. She's doing it. She's locked in.
You're the perfect man, and I respect you.
Because you need the experience. It doesn't matter how they look. They can be fat. They can be fat and ugly. They can have a bad personality. It doesn't matter. Because you just need the fuck to get the experience. But unless you get yourself to try some coke or MJ, you'll never experience it. It's never going to be good enough. That's pretty much what I remember from that manifesto. Eventually, he stopped, and both me and Lisa thought it was time to go home. Kevin then gave me a hug and repeated some of the things that he said before we left. Keep in touch, man. Keep in touch. On the way home, me and Lisa kind of had a laugh about the whole situation, and she even apologized for what happened. I told her I didn't mind, and we've had wilder and crazier nights before. We then broke off at her place and promised to see each other more. As I said, Lisa was a wild girl, but she ended up in the wrong crowd, and both me and a lot of our common friends have tried to get her out of it since. But I definitely hope to never meet Kevin again.
Your Trump is like Cartman doing Trump.
Yes.
And it's so funny.
Sorry,
I love that.
Stupid
I
enough.
love that. No, 12 out of 10. That was perfect.
Thank you. Claps. Thank you. Yeah, what a fucking crazy person. Also, the guy has continued to fuck women because he is so deep in the closet that's what he thinks he has to do to get himself out of the closet.
Yeah. He's like, you're kind of pretty, virgin too.
Yeah. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
You're perfect.
Yeah, I'd like that mouth wrapped around my back.
Literally.
Hey,
Literally.
you gotta fucking get used to it, man.
You just gotta try some stuff. You want some drug? You just gotta try stuff. Get some experience.
Here, I got some Viagra if you want. You want some Viagra? I also have some GHB if you want. You want some GHB?
Bring this big
really fun.
You want popper?
You want some poppers?
Pop it right open.
I will do GHB, and then we'll follow with Viagra, and then we'll follow it with some poppers. How about that?
I feel the rush.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I've been like out on nights where I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Again, never ended up in a Nazi drug den.
Yeah.
Until then, I was like, ooh, Barbie everything. Why are we complaining?
Interesting place for this man to be.
Right.
Yeah. I'd say his house. Do you think it's his house?
Yes.
Yeah.
For my sake and the story, it is his house. That is the lore. We're not taking any other interpretations of that.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't really, I'm like,
use some critical thinking.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that in where we see with all the people who are like this and who like Trump is just the critical thinking skills are just not there.
Right.
Like they again, we talk about it every time, but they get so close and then they miss it every
Entirely miss the
time.
point.
Yeah, and I'm like, I had so much faith. I really thought you were getting there. You're like, you think that everybody should be able to do their own thing, right? Right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I do have, because I've also had a lot of pretty intense nights.
Huh?
Not anything. I've had nights where I've ended up in very, very, very weird, uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Not with the Nazi, thankfully. However, there was a time that I was traveling around the country in my minivan.
Yeah.
And I was sleeping in the back of my minivan, and I was in Forks, Washington.
Oh.
Yes. We had gone to Olympic National Park and spent a day there, but I couldn't hike with Hank because it's a national park and you can't hike with dogs. So we were like, let's go to Forks and we'll stay in Forks for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And because I always wanted to go to Forks. So we found a campsite on Airbnb
Mm-hmm.
for this like spot on somebody's property, essentially.
Yeah.
In Forks. And we got there and we pulled up and it was like, you know, like those types of houses where you look and you're like, oh, you're a tinkerer. You like to tinker on things, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you,
Yeah.
Squidward? Like, there are cars and washing machines and refrigerators and
Yeah.
every sort of electronic device that you could think of
Yeah.
scattered all over the front lawn of this house that's
Yeah.
like at the front of this property.
Gasmos and
Uh-huh.
gizmos of plenty.
And we pulled up and we were like, do we trust it? Do we trust this?
Yeah.
And some lady runs out of the house like so quickly. She's running out. She has like these long dreads. Like, white lady, long dreads.
Yeah.
This like one of those like knitted hats, like the beanies, but they go down and they have like the strings. They go all the way down.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pajama pants
Uh-huh.
and a t-shirt.
Okay.
And runs out. And she was like, "Oh my God, like, are you Addison? Blah blah blah. Like, we've been looking forward to having you here, all this stuff." And I like, she's smiling and her teeth are like rotted. And I was like, "All right,
Charming.
girl, yes." I was like, "Okay, let's gauge this. Well, we might be safe here. We might not. Let's see. We might get robbed. We might not. Well, who knows?"
Yeah.
And so she starts talking, and we were like, "Yeah, we're just staying here for a couple of days. Like, we just want, some nice like time in the woods.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into town, do stuff like that." And she was like, "I love your aura." And she was like, "I'm gonna put you guys in my favorite spot." And we were like,
Okay.
"Okay." So she's like, "Follow me," and she just starts like walking, and we're like driving like really slowly,
1 mile an hour.
yeah, literally like right behind her. She's just walking, and she keeps like looking behind her and like waving.
Yeah.
And we're like, "We're following you. We are right here, promise." And she had like, they have like a yurt that they also like rent out and stuff. And she's like, "You sure you guys don't want to stay in the yurt?" And we're like, "Nope, we're fine. We'll stay in our car." So good. So she like brings us over to this like little spot that's under a tree next to a river. Granted, beautiful spot.
Mhm.
Beautiful spot. She was like, "This is where I go when I want to be alone."
Yeah.
And she was like, "You can't hear anything over here." And I was like,
Huh?
"Awesome. Cool. So fun." And she was
Right.
like, "Get out. I'll walk you around." So we were like, "Hank, stay in the car."
Yeah.
Like, got
Keys
out.
in the ignition, ready to
Yeah.
go.
So we got out of the car and started walking around, and she literally like walked us over her entire like down the stream, like
Wow.
showed us like, she's like, "I set these little traps."
For bears or?
Nope. Didn't explain what they were for. Dad, I didn't ask. I was like, "No, thank you." She was like, "These are my little handmade traps." And then she was like, was making like this like little like fort like against the water with like little twigs.
For the fairies.
Sticks, probably. And we were like, "Wow, it's so cool." awesome. I think we're gonna get set up. I think we're gonna get our car set up to camp.
Yeah.
We're gonna get set up. And she's like, okay, I'll be back over in a minute with a joint. And I was like, okay. So she didn't come. We set everything up. We got everything set up, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna like cook dinner and we're gonna hang out and get ready. So we have the back open. We like crawl into the back so we can kind of like hide into it.
Yeah.
And I spark a joint, and it was like it called to her. I don't know, but we just heard hey, hey, like out the distance, and it was like fuck, god damn it. And she came back and she goes, I meant to bring one, but I totally forgot. Oh, can I do his mind? Crawled into the backseat with us. Like into her, because like our seats are folded down and we have like an air mattress in the back.
Yeah.
Crawls into the backseat.
So you're all sitting in your bed.
We're all sitting in my bed. Yep. This woman, fully clothed, muddy boots. We were like, ah! And she just starts talking. Like we're passing this joint around, and she just starts talking about her life. And she was like, yeah, so my dad was a Nazi, and he actually was a commander in the war.
Huh.
And we were like, what?
Very casual, insane lore to drop.
Yep. No, she literally was like giving us her entire life story from
Yeah.
start to finish. So she was like, yeah, my dad was like, because she was like in her like probably early 50s, maybe, or late 50s, early 60s, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so believable that her dad was like
Yeah.
ranking. And we were like, what? And both of us are like, she's on drugs. Like she
Yes.
has to be on drugs.
Yeah.
And she starts speaking fluent German.
Huh.
Fluent German. Like literally like telling a story in German. And we were like, so what are your thoughts on that? And she was like, well, she was like, I respected my father when I was a kid. And then like, after the war ended, my mom like left him and moved us all to America. And, she was like, and then I realized that he was really bad.
Okay.
And
cool.
we were like, good. Yeah, that's good. That's
Great.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she was like, yeah, my brother got into really hard drugs and then he died. And then I started selling drugs and then I started selling my body. And like, literally like fucking like deep into it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And she told us her entire life story. And like, literally the joint had been out for like an hour. And we were like,
I
cool.
just want to go to bed, man.
Yeah, I just want to eat dinner. We hadn't even eaten dinner at this
Oh,
point.
God.
Yeah. So, and from that point forward, we tried to be gone as much as possible.
Yeah.
We also learned he is in fact a tinkerer. She was not, like, she had been off drugs for a while. Like,
California sober.
yeah, but she's like, I smoke weed. I don't even drink, but like, I used to be really into meth. And like, she was like, so did the guy, I never saw him, but the way she described him was like a cartoon scientist.
That is what I imagined.
Yeah, like long white beard, like big round glasses with
Yeah.
like the tiniest little mouth and like
Yeah.
all like you don't even see eyes, it's just glasses.
just glasses and hair that goes.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
like he just sits and like makes contraptions all day and that's
Yeah.
like his thing. And he like never wants to talk to people. He hates people. There was a couple that got there the night after us and they stayed in the yurt and they left at like 4 a.m. Like,
I imagine she's like, we are leaving.
yeah,
now."
we literally heard them. Like we heard them up and down throughout the night, and which she lied. You could absolutely hear stuff all around there.
Okay.
But we heard them up and down, and then we heard them pack everything up and leave.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. What a charming experience for you.
Yeah, totally different.
Did you like forks?
It was cute. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
pretty cute.
Yeah. Did you get a garden burger?
No, I did not. We did go to the little burger shop that was there. We didn't go to that like same cafe, but
That's cool.
we did go to like a little burger stand that was there, and then we went to a few of the like filming sites because we like most of the filming sites are in Oregon, so like we went to a lot of the filming sites in Oregon, but we went to a couple places that were in Washington too. So,
Sick.
but it was cute, and I really they do cater to like people who want to go there to see
I
Twilight.
bet they do.
And the
yeah.
locals do not like it
I bet they
at
don't.
all.
Yep.
At all. Like
Yep.
every store that we went into, like you could see people like passing on the road, like
Yeah.
Yeah, they did not want you there. We also went into Port Angeles, and that was cool.
Nice.
Because you had to drive around. There's a lake called Crescent Moon Lake. Beautiful, gorgeous, insane. So pretty.
Yeah. Story number 3. Has anything like this happened to anyone else in Marmaris?
I think so.
Has anything like this happened to anyone else in Turkey? I really need answers about what this man might have wanted. In 2023, I was in Marmaris with my best friend on our first night in Turkey around 11 p.m. We ended up at the Fun Fair beach. At first, it felt exciting and harmless due to the fact we just turned 18 and left college. We were just 2 girls on holiday. But something happened that still sits in my chest to this day. I don't know if I was overreacting or if we narrowly avoided something serious. While we were on one of the rides, I noticed a man staring at us. He was standing nearby the ride, just watching us specifically and only us with this intense focus. During the ride, my glasses fell off my head. When it ended, that same man came up and gave them back to me. I thanked him and walked off with my friend. We moved on to the next ride, and he followed and got on the same ride, and he sat directly in front of us and kept making eye contact with me the entire time. I started to feel genuinely nervous, and I could tell my friend did too. When the ride finished, the man came off, but he stood at the queue of the ride watching us. Me and my friend decided to stay on the ride now because we were genuinely getting scared. We had 1 token left, so we decided to use it and figured out what to do. During the whole ride me and my friend were on, the man kept staring at us, waiting literally at the entrance of the ride. When the ride ended, I decided to pull out my phone and take a picture of him just for safety reasons. And when we left the ride, he kept following us around the fun fair. It kept giving me this terrible feeling. And then I look at my friend and tell her, when I count down to 3, take off our shoes and run as fast as we can. He literally chased us through the streets. We ran for about 10 minutes. Eventually, we ran into a restaurant and hid. He must not have seen us go in because he kept running straight past. We stayed hidden until we were sure he was gone. What scares me even more is that he had a young boy, maybe 14 or 15 years old, with him the entire time. The boy was not walking ahead or playing. He stayed near the man, trailing behind him. Later that week, near our hotel, we saw him again. This time he was on the beach, watching a British woman sitting by herself. My friend and I rushed over to warn her. She was grateful, but I couldn't shake the feeling that if we hadn't acted when we did, something terrible could have happened to us. What could he possibly have wanted? Has anyone else had something like this happen in Turkey or in general? What does it sound like to you? Human trafficking.
Yeah, that sounds
You seen the movie Taken? That sounds like Taken.
That's also, like, people in the comments are like, if you're a young woman, stay away from Marmaris. Somebody else said, I hate to talk about my country in negative terms. However, touristic places are crawling with creeps. As a native woman, I would not go to those places by myself, let alone tell a foreign woman to visit. If you're staying in a hotel or a resort, I'd recommend talking to them about this. They might be able to offer some protection or assistance, especially if that man is staying in the same hotel.
Spooky, yeah. And I think just like touristy places in general, you have to be very careful because there's 100%. A lot of people that come through them.
And they that's like their tactic. That's what they do. They sit outside of places that they think women are going to be alone or their guard is going to be down, which it usually is. If you're on vacation, your guard is down. You're literally walking around like enjoying your time. So that's what they look for, and especially to young women, like their first time going to like Turkey and hanging out, and they can probably sense it from a mile away.
Right.
Like, and I'm sure that boy was probably some sort of lure in some way, I'm assuming, like, especially with like younger girls, like maybe he uses that kid to try to get the other kids to like get away from their parents, you know.
He tries to Lizzie McGuire movie them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's scary, but it happens.
Yeah,
that's the world we live in.
Always be vigilant when you're traveling, even when you're not traveling.
No, always be vigilant. Period. There was like a study done too that it's you're like I don't want to say numbers because I cannot remember the statistic at all. But there is a study that like one of the most places that people get trafficked at is the gas station, like while you're traveling.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, so because they're like, okay, this woman's going inside really quickly, going to the bathroom. They already have a car right next to the door that goes to the bathroom. They just run in,
grab you, and then they're on the road. A lot of those are right by highways.
And it's so easy to just like pop on a plate and pop off a plate, you know, like that is a huge recurring thing that happens all over the globe, unfortunately. And that's what I'm like, I think there are a lot more bad people in the world,
right?
than we think. Like, it is a dark and scary place. And that's not to say that there aren't beautiful, like, safe places, but a man's always gonna ruin it, huh?
Yeah. It's just what they do.
You're just a man. Story 4. A clothed man at a nudist campground. So for some much needed context, I am a nudist. Most of us nudists travel to resorts/campgrounds in our area where nudity is allowed because it's a private property. These campgrounds are often near the woods or on the outskirts of their respected towns, as nudism isn't exactly an accepted lifestyle. This encounter took place at a campground last July. I won't mention the place for privacy reasons, but just know it sits on about 5 acres of rural, I can never say that name. 5 acres of rural land surrounded by hundreds of acres of dense forests and hills. I planned on staying at this campground for 3 nights. It was a Monday to Wednesday, so besides those who lived on the grounds, there weren't many people out there, but whatever, I liked the seclusion. After checking in and dropping my bags at the cabin, I went over to the pool to swim. After swimming a few laps and enjoying the sunshine, I noticed something. At the top of one of the hills overlooking the campground stood a man looking right at me. Normally that wouldn't mean much, but he was clothed. I should probably mention now that this campground isn't a standard nudist campground. About 90% of the nudist campgrounds are clothing optional, meaning you are allowed to wear clothes if you choose, apart for some exceptions like the pool or shower areas. But this campground was nude only, meaning unless in the case of extreme weather or women when menstruating, all clothes were prohibited. And I know this place is strict on enforcing that, so a clothed person was a bit out of the ordinary. At first, I thought the man was possibly a worker, being that they usually will wear something while doing maintenance to protect themselves, but this guy was wearing blue jeans and a black hoodie with the hood up. It felt off, especially being that it was 85 degrees outside. He stood there frozen like a statue with his hands in his hoodie pocket. The campground had nature trails that were accessible to the public, but being that it was so far from the town and that all the locals knew of this place, having unexpected visitors was virtually non-existent. Even though I was creeped out by this guy, I knew I needed to tell people in the office about him to shoo him away. So I got up, dried myself off, and made my way to the office. I told the 2 older ladies working at the office what I saw. Being that they knew me because I came here often, they took my claim seriously. I brought them to where I saw him by the pool. But yep, you guessed it, he was gone. I was gone for about 2 minutes, giving him plenty of time to walk away, and being that it was so early in the morning, I doubt anyone else saw him. We went to the top of the hill to see if we could spot him, but no luck. I figured that because he saw me go to the office, and that I just straight up spotted him, that I probably scared him off. He was a creep, yes, but I rationalized the whole thing by thinking he probably was just some local who ventured too far down the trail. So I went about my day. As the day went on, people came and went, as any normal campground would, and I had almost completely forgotten about the encounter. That was until night fell. This campground offered cabins for rent for guests, and lucky me had the cabin closest to the trail. It was very cozy and small, no more than 2 to 3 parking spaces of room, and had paper-thin wood as the walls, allowing me to hear even the faintest sounds from outside. My cabin was away from pretty much anyone. My nearest neighbor was a local we'll call Sam, who lived in his trailer about 150 feet away from my cabin. I was laying on the bed reading a book, and I could hear faint crunching of twigs and grass from outside my cabin, almost like footsteps. At first, I thought it was Sam because he usually would smoke around this time, but something about the frequency of the footsteps made them suspicious, as if they were trying to be as discreet as possible. I got up from my bed and slowly peered through the blinds. It took me a while to see, but I could just make out a figure slowly walking towards Sam's trailer. My heart sank. Sam was a pale white man, and I've never ever seen him clothed before, so the fact that I couldn't make out his pale skin through the darkness made me come to
I'm sorry.
made me come to terms of who it was. It was the man from the hill. Same black hoodie after confirming the same blue jeans. Whoever this was must have picked Sam's trailer or whatever sick plan he had, but that his trailer was the closest to the trail. And then everything hit me at once. Sam has 2 young daughters in that trailer. They lived there during the summer. Sam was the only one with kids that actually lived at the campground. This guy somehow knew that and has plans to do God knows what. Who knows how long he'd been secretly watching them. I saw him on that hill, and he was only 100 feet away from the trailer, probably doing one last dry run before his plan. I knew I had to do something. I grabbed my phone and called Sam. Calling the police would have been pointless, being how far we were from the closest station. The phone rang and rang and rang, and he wasn't picking up. I called again and again, occasionally peeking out the blinds again to see the man walking around the trailer. After the 5th time, I saw the man stand on a box and peer into a window. I decided that I needed to do something drastic. I was going to go out there and handle this myself. I didn't have time to get my clothes from my bag, so I just threw on my hiking boots. And as soon as I opened my cabin door, I heard a high-pitched ah! I snapped my head in the direction of the trailer, and I see the lights flick on, revealing the man climbing out of the window from the trailer and start running down the trail. Without even thinking, I chased after him. I could hear Sam yell, "What happened?" as one of his daughters explains the situation. Sam then takes off as well, seeing me in pursuit. I could just barely make out the man's blue jeans, but he was much faster than Sam and I. The fucker got away. I stopped to catch my breath, with Sam catching up to me to do the same. I told him what I saw, and we made our way back to the trailer to regroup. By then, a few other residents were out of their trailers, with his daughters being told what happened. A few of the other men went into the trail to see if they could find anything while I called the police. It took 30 minutes for the police to get there, and we told them what happened as soon as some officers also went into the woods. We never found out who the man was, and since then, Sam and his daughters sold their trailer and moved out just a few weeks later. I haven't been back to that campground since then, and from what I hear, the residents have moved on from all of this. They put up a fence line throughout the whole property, as well as a volunteer security guard who patrols the premises. So, to the man who stalked 2 young girls for God knows how long and who attempted to break into their trailer, let's not meet.
First question. Is the security guard required to be nude? He just has his tool belt on?
You know, that's a good question.
Because, like, this whole story, keep in mind, butt-ass
Everyone's
naked.
naked.
So he's
I was-
running and chasing him, junk flying in the way it's
flopping. I literally at the beginning, or like whenever they were like, they said that they went to the office and talked to the 2 older ladies. I'm just imagining like 2 old ladies
yeah.
standing behind the counter completely naked.
Completely naked.
Yeah.
Titties hanging in the air.
Titties hanging, pussy out. Like,
Yep. Yep. And then, granted, it's not great what this man did. However, I do think it's very funny that he kept being like, this creep with clothes on.
yeah, exactly. What a weirdo.
Weirdo standing in the woods with clothes on.
Yeah.
When it first started, I imagined, I was like, is this a guy who's like, maybe his car
Longing.
broke down
Oh.
or he's running from the law or something.
Yeah.
Something. Wearing clothes and is like, is that guy fucking naked?
Yeah.
Like, yo, what?
Yeah, he's just like on a walk and he just like stops and stares because he like, oh, I really want to do that.
Yeah.
Seems really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, not anything to do with the story, but swimming naked probably feels so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait to do it for my bachelorette party. I'm like,
Yeah.
that must be so freeing.
Right.
I'm-
One with nature.
So interested in a nudist lifestyle because, like, I feel like I hate being naked.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like you would be more of a never nude colony than a nudist colony?
No, because I am nude sometimes, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't like I take my clothes off to shower. I take my clothes off to get in the bathtub. I take my clothes off when I change. Like
Yeah.
I'm not never nude, but I
Yeah.
feel like more often than not I'm clothed. Like if I'm at home, I'm not just like laying around. But I'm
Right.
also like not very confident in my body and not very secure in my body, so I don't
Yeah.
like looking at it.
Yeah.
But also,
there's a branch of my family, my Aunt Debbie. I love her so much. All of her daughters, the titties out all the time. And
yeah.
me and my brother, who are basically Puritans, are like, dear God, woman.
Yeah. Put your titties away. Your bosoms are showing.
Yeah.
That's like growing up in a super, super strict Christian household. Like,
Right.
this is so out there for
Covered.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, but then there's like, it comes into the aspects of like living on a day-to-day basis. Like, I am constantly in fear that somebody is going to attack me.
Yeah.
And the thought of being attacked while I'm naked is enough
Hate
to
it.
send me into orbit. Like,
Yeah.
it is one of the reasons I take the fastest showers ever. Like, I do what I need to do, right?
Right.
Like,
You're in
I'm
there
washing my
scrubbing.
hair, I'm scrubbing my body, I'm washing my face, I'm doing all the things. I don't have to shave my legs because I don't shave my legs. I don't do any of that. So, like, that's not taking up time.
Yeah.
And I'm not just standing there.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like, Quentin, he loves to stand in the shower. That boy will stand in the shower for like 35 minutes.
I do that
not
too.
doing insane to me. I'm like,
yeah.
what are y'all doing? Stop. Why are you just standing there?
I
Somebody's
do
gonna-
make sure all the doors are locked.
But see, for me, that doesn't do anything. I'm
Yeah.
like, I have such a like fear of somebody coming in while I'm in the bath or in the shower
Yeah.
and I'm naked that
Yeah.
it keeps me from being in the shower or
It's a
bath that
common
long.
trope in movies.
Yeah, it is. And I think about it without fail, every time I get in the shower. Every single time. I won't even close my eyes in the shower that long because I'm like, that's how they'll get me.
Well, see, I don't close my eyes because I don't want the little grudge hand to grab me.
That too. Yeah, that's also something I think about too. Every
Like
single
me,
time.
no one's gonna break into my house.
The grudge is
the
gonna fall
hand
out of
is
my
gonna
head.
come out of my head.
Yeah, I get that. I can understand that.
My logic is astounding.
Yeah, but I think about the lifestyle quirks of like being a nudist because I'm like, how do you cook? Because you're gonna burn yourself. Like,
Yeah, the
How do
oil
you-
splatter.
yeah,
Maybe an apron.
yeah. How do you do like anything?
Just ass cheeks out, apron.
Yeah, that's really ass the shop. Sorry, you know. Like,
yeah.
but all to say, going back to the story,
What a hero.
what a hero!
Glad you were there.
Yeah, putting on your hiking boots and just chasing after that man who was trying to break it, who did break into that
He
trailer.
did break
yeah,
in. Yeah.
which is terrifying.
Right.
And it's good that you were like paying attention.
Right. You're vigilant.
Yeah.
That's the kind of neighbor that you would want, someone who's vigilant
Mm-hmm.
and is going to step in if something is happening.
Yeah. I do want to know if the security guard is always nude though.
Yeah, I just imagine he has a tool belt.
Yeah. Yeah. Just Bob the Builder, but like nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like a
he's got
gun
more
on
than
one
one hammer
side and a
swinging, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, and when they do maintenance, like, are they only putting on like an apron? Like, you know, like if somebody's like working on the electrical
Right.
part, are they only wearing an apron?
I feel like there's some things you don't want dangling.
Yeah. Also, is there food at this campground? Because isn't it being
Isn't
naked
it like a
around a
food
bunch of food is like a
safety?
food safety thing? Like, you don't
Yeah.
want to get like a puke in there.
Maybe it's like, maybe it's like, bring your own dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a
Eat your own
campground,
pubes,
so.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just
Yeah.
I wonder what it's like going to a nudist. We'll get my first taste. We'll get our first taste of like a nude something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never been to.
I would do like titties out, but I don't want my coochie touching everything.
Yeah, and see, I think like when we're at the place, I will probably have my bottoms on, but
Yeah.
boobs probably out.
Like my pH is really balanced.
Yeah.
So I'm like not trying to.
But part of me also, I'm like, maybe in the water I'll take my bottoms off because I really want to swim just to like feel what it feels. Because I imagine it's
I
like,
could do that, but
like
yeah,
a
I don't want
baby
to
in the
sit on
womb.
anything.
oh
you
no,
know?
yeah, like people who like go to like the spa and
Yeah.
like go and sit in like a sauna.
Yeah.
Like there's like a beer spa that I've gone to. I've gone to it twice, once with Sarah, once with Quentin, and they were like, okay, so like you can be naked or you can have your bathing suits on. And I'm like, I don't really want to put my naked ass on anything else that
Right.
anyone else has had their naked ass on. Like for me, that just grosses me out.
Are you sure this water's sanitary?
Yeah, exactly.
I
I'm
don't
like,
think so.
I'll have my boobs out because there's no entrance for anything to get into my body that way.
Right. No,
But
I put them out on a Tuesday, so
yeah,
like
I
so
love
ready.
having my tits out.
Yeah.
But my girl, my baby, no, she's
she's private.
she is
she's
private.
demure.
She's for me.
Yeah.
She likes to sit in silence. She's very reserved, very shy. You know.
She is not, but that's what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
She's yowling. Meow.
Oh my
Well, how was that for some FONMO?
FONMO. You know. You know what? I think I realized that it's really a win-lose game here, and you just have to appreciate what you have.
That is the spirit.
Yeah, and you know how you can show us your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and keep listening on all platforms that you can find us streaming. You can follow us on social media everywhere at _the pod. And you can also find us on Reddit if you want to share your story, or you can email it to us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
I do hope that you do have the best weekend ever while you're away, and you have FONMO for everything going on here.
I don't know if that'll happen, especially if wait, what was that?